Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies for the technicals. And I hope you're all Star Trek fans. If you're not, you're welcome to the evening. So, thank you for coming today. I'm sure Rugal are very pleased that you've all turned up, and as an exhibitor, we're all very pleased that you turned up, especially as there's been a break. So, really, very much thank you for coming to the show today, and I hope we will also see you at the other ones geographically around the country when they all get sorted out. So if you've been keeping an eye on the announcements and the news groups and the various websites, you will know that Ron's got a few things to say. So I'll lead with RISC OS developments, and if I may at the end, I will just pop 5 or 10 minutes on for Orpheus Internet. As you know, I'm an internet service provider, so we've got some interesting things that are going on there. So I'll bring you up to date on all of that. You will have heard of Iris, which is the web browser. You will most probably have heard that we've done the new TCP/IP stack, and we've now got a net manager, which we were showing, I think, last year, that hopefully everyone will have seen. And on top of that, we've also got Wi-Fi working on the various Raspberry Pis, even the old ARM-X6 that Andrew started this small revolution with. Some of those boards also have Wi-Fi, and to our surprise, it works on those as well, which is really nice. Our team of programmers have done a wonderful job, but the major change that comes into effect over the last couple of days and today is that all of this software is now available to everybody. We're not asking for any money. There's no please donate to help us. It's all being released. But like Microsoft, whose operating systems, as you know, are always classed as beta, most probably all of our software will be beta from now on. But that's only because we want to keep on working on it, improving it, adding features to it, and other items. So, but it's nice. Like I say, it's all available for you. Currently, it's being led with RISC OS Direct, which, as you know, was just taking the root from the RUL website and then adding programs and making a distribution that was aimed for people who are not familiar with RISC OS but are familiar with Raspberry Pis. So that's now had its first major upgrade, and it's quite a large one. So that is now available on the RISC OS Direct mini site and on our main website as well. No, I think it's restart, so it's not there. But one of the things about Wi-Fi, if you notice now, down the bottom here, we have got a couple of icons. I am running almost the latest version, so this isn't the one that you guys will get, but we're hoping that this release will come out in the next few weeks when a few more bugs are sorted. But for anyone who's got a Mac or a PC here? Yeah, everyone. So, if you try to go and find your Wi-Fi, then what do? You look for a Wi-Fi symbol, and on those two operating systems, you would then left mouse click. The way we tend to do it in RISC OS is we put the pointer over and we go menu, and then we find Wi-Fi networks. So the RISC OS way of doing everything is there. However, as I said, RISC OS Direct was aimed at people who aren't as familiar with RISC OS as most of the people in this room are. So we can now do, in addition to the RISC OS way, we can take the mouse pointer, do a left mouse click, and there we are, we have all of the networks. So Sydney is the one that we're using in the hall today. I've already connected to it on the stand. So in this room we're further away, so it's not quite such good signal strength, but there we are. If the colour was a bit better, you would actually see that the little inverted triangle there has turned green. It was a pink colour and it's now actually green, but we are connected. So if we hadn't been, then it would have asked us for our password. We would have put the password in for the network, and on this version, this is another update that will be coming in, as I say, shortly, then it would actually say, do you want to store this in your current profile that you're running in Network Manager? So earlier on today I said yes, because I'm running the Rugol profile, so that when I come to next year's show, hopefully in this same building, the profile for Rugol is already here, and if I go to the wireless networks, it shows last year's one, or a couple of years ago, and it also now shows Sydney. So that's stored there. So I might not use this profile until next year. I will most probably use Home or Office, and you can just switch actively. Obviously, if I switch to that now and say, let's go to my Office, it will now start scanning for Wi-Fi again, because it doesn't know about Sydney, because that's on a different profile. But I can just click on there. As you see, it says network. I think this is the right key. There we are, you can see, and it realises that I've changed profile. So would I like to store this updated network key in this current profile? In this instance, I'm going to say no. But it just leaves me connected. So this is some function. Charles, have you lost me? Can you hear me okay? No, sorry. I've been hearing an echo. That's fine. Sorry, Charles. So yeah, this is just added functionality. This is something to just make it easier, and hopefully, even as stalwart RISC OS users, you will find it easier and it will be more helpful, because Wi-Fi can be quite a complicated and frustrating matter. So that's one of the updates that's going to come, but of course any of you now can go and get it. As I say, we're leading with RISC OS Direct. Arcom, as you know, Andrew is a fellow director in RISC OS developments with me, and a lot of his equipment is based on that. So the next batch next week, he will be putting these updates out, so that anyone who has one of Arcom's machines will just be able to apply an upgrade to that, and all of the bits and pieces that we've got here will then be made available. And we will then also sort out how to get the individuals from the RISC OS development websites, so you can still download Iris. We'll put Iris up there so that you can download it, and you can have that separately if you haven't had an upgrade with a RISC OS machine. And I think that's most probably it for RISC OS developments. Andrew and I have been working our tails off all over the summer to get this all ready for you, and it almost seems that there's not a lot, but we've covered the stack and we've covered all the bits and pieces very well in the past, so I won't repeat all of that. If you want to see some of the specs, we've got some of the sheets up on the stand. You can go and have a look there for that. You can come and talk to me or Andrew as well. if I take questions now for RISC OS developments, and then I will go on and do our Orpheus Internet after that. Are there any questions from anybody?
Yeah, I've got to ask this.
Sure.
Have you sorted out the shared lib problem with Iris?
Right. Are you talking about with in respect to Python?
Yes.
Yes. At the moment, shared libs is still inside Iris.
Right.
We're looking to move that outside, but there are, because of the fact that the latest version of Python is much more flexible actually. So on our RISC OS developments, RISC OS Direct, we've now upgraded the version of Python to the latest version, and that plays a lot happier. If you want to know the actual specifics, John, could I direct you to have a word with Andrew, and he can just explain.
Because I don't use Iris because I use Python every day.
That's it. So yes, he'll be able to tell you where we've got on that.
Okay,
it's not absolutely perfect,
no,
but then
as long as you're trying along the
oh yes. No, I noticed on the news groups there was a comment about Python only this week and shared libs. Someone was asking, but again, move up to. Hopefully, you can move up to the latest version of Python. And Andrew's sorted out a much better way, and we'll be happy to explain it to you.
And it's not just Python, it's Lua and some other things as well.
Yeah,
so.
that's right. It's simply because if we make one very large shared libs, it gets very large, especially in RISC OS terms, and we'd rather not do that. So a little bit of compromise, but it should hopefully be better for you.
I'm happy.
Okay, that's wonderful. Anyone else?
Just one more question.
Of course.
What happens if you press adjust on that?
What, on the Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. We haven't assigned anything to adjust.
Fine. Just one.
And I believe that we also, Andy, our lead programmer on the Net Manager, is also working out a way so that we can take those two icons and turn them into one. I haven't seen how that looks yet, so I can't tell you. But that's his idea because he feels it's possibly taking up too much space.
Yes.
My preference is I like it like that. So, but we'll leave that in because I want to have my cake and I also want you guys to eat yours. So we'll make it flexible as we normally do. Obviously there are more things in the pipeline for the TCP/IP. IPv6 backend needs to be sorted out on the Wi-Fi. We've got the bit on the front that makes it look nice, but it doesn't do anything. And there are various bits and pieces within the Wi-Fi that just need tidying up and finishing off. And there'll be another update.
Are you looking at Bluetooth in that respect?
No, we haven't looked at Bluetooth at all. Certainly in my mind, what device would I want to attach to a RISC OS machine with Bluetooth?
My headphones, for example.
Okay, fair enough. That's a very good point. I hadn't thought of that. So that's something. It'll be on our list somewhere. Most things are. It's just what we need to prioritise.
Yeah, I fully understand. It is of interest to me because
Yes.
I do use the headphones a lot, and they connect to my Apple nicely. So
But
they
not
don't
to
do,
RISC OS. No. I mean, Bluetooth at the moment is. I don't think there's anything there for you. So it's something, no doubt, that we will look at. But of course, we've also got 64-bit for RISC OS, and that is very firmly on our roadmap. That we need to look at that because we want it to run on the newer, faster machines. Not because, as a RISC OS user, RISC OS is slow. It's anything but slow. I mean, that's been its marvellous joy for so long. It's relatively compact and it's quick. But
we're also starting to run out of ARM chips that are capable of executing
that is
32-bit mode.
That is very much. Thank you. That is very much why we need to look at 64-bit. Not because of speed, not necessarily because of any extra advantages, but because at some point Raspberry Pi will stop making machines. But the CM4, I think, is scheduled for at least another, someone was saying to me, 5 years or so, and possibly even longer if they have good sales. So
Yeah, well, just started with the Pi 5, but it hasn't got a 32-bit.
that's right. Yeah.
Supervisor.
Yeah, RISC OS will not run on Pi 5 at the moment.
It's the first Pi I haven't bought. I bought every other.
That's
version.
right.
I just said, I'm not buying that because it was
No.
disappointed to break my run.
Yes. Well, as I say, we will do our best to work on it.
Yeah.
Right, I'll switch over to Orpheus Internet. Most of you do know me as RISC OS Development when I come and do a talk, but I'm an internet service provider to quite a number of my customers here, and we look after domains and emails.
Past customer of yours here, I'm afraid.
Well, there we are. I can't keep everybody all the time, so, but I do my best for that. But one of the upgrades that we're actually doing is that we're changing the hardware that we run all our services on. Currently, like a lot of companies, we're running on an HP Gen 9 lathe server, which is a big piece of kit, has 16 fans inside it, and we also have another box that has I think it's 24 spinning hard drives in. That's not very green. Now, at one point we were running on 9 of these HP servers. That was even less green, but they ran out of life. So we did a changeover about 3 or 4 years ago. However, the electricity costs a fortune, and I will give you an example. Because we had a power outage last week, I was playing with the backups and I was checking things. And the 2 main boxes that we are looking to retire currently run at 400 watts on average. So that's not necessarily when they're going flat out. If we've got one of our lovely spam attacks on the email server that slows us down a bit, but we take care of when we get rid of. I think the last one was 500,000 emails got dumped on us. But we took care of it, slowed the email services down to you guys, but it didn't stop it, and that's the important thing. So 400 watts. Now we've changed some of our virtual machines, and they're now running on Raspberry Pi 5s. We have 3 of them, and those 3 hardware machines are now running 8 virtual machines. Their total consumption on average, when they're not being stressed out, is 13 watts.
Big difference.
So I can't wait to retire 400 watts, 365, 24/7, or 13 watts. It'll go up from there. It'll most probably, I reckon, be nearer 100 watts. But it's a way that even as a small company, we can do what Apple, Hewlett Packard, they put solar panels on their buildings. They want to be net zero. They recycle everything. Well, yeah. So I can do my bit. So as Orpheus Internet, we're very pleased to say that we will be reducing down our bill, hopefully tenfold, and that will make it more profitable for me to stay in business, and I can continue to pay the electricity bill at home. But just as an example, so when you see these news articles where people are talking about server farms and they show these big racks, they are consuming tremendous amounts of power, and hopefully all companies will do their best, because it's in their interest to keep their profit margins up, but it would be better for the planet. So that's my green bit. Because of this, we're changing also the servers that we have. Also, when it comes to domains and hosting, it's going to be a smoother, faster process, and we also should now be able to start looking at putting in either individual servers if somebody wants it to be completely separate and they just want the hardware and the software. We can provide that because the cost of these machines is an awful lot less than one of these servers. If I wanted a backup server, I'm going to pay second hand between £2,000 and £4,000 for something that runs at 120 watts. No, a lot better off with having lots of small. So I will have a lovely server farm in my house at some point, or in the storage room that we use for it. So that's the updates that we've got for Orpheus, that we're changing things around, and it should be good for everybody in the long term. I think I'm almost out of time. Does anyone have any questions they'd like to ask me as Orpheus? Or RISC OS developments if you prefer, I don't know.
Me again, Orpheus. We talked about changing telephones at home from analog to digital. We're still doing that.
Yes, yeah, the service is live. We have about a dozen customers on a VoIP service now.
And I am one of them.
Here we are. Are you a happy customer, Charles?
The only trouble is, the kit does need rebooting from time to time. It tends to lock out and need rebooting, but
Yeah.
I can cope with it.
Yes, yeah, that is one of those things that does occasionally happen with computers. You have to do that. And this is one of the differences between an old style analog, where it just sits there and rings when someone calls you, to VoIP, which is a computerized system that has to be continually, it's pinging the network, is it live? So, yes.
But it's different, but it works.
But it works. Yeah, I mean, you've given me plenty of calls and we've had good quality, haven't we? And we've done VoIP to VoIP, as well as VoIP to mobile and VoIP to analog. And I don't think we've ever particularly had a bad line.
And I can take up my landline on my phone, mobile. I can answer it on my mobile if I want to, which is quite useful if you're away on holiday.
You can take your work with you. Which is what I do. But hopefully Charles just takes it because he's got nice friends who want to chat to him, but he's just not at home, he's on holiday. So there are advantages to VoIP and there are some disadvantages as well. But
What's the cost of those compared?
£15 a month. So at the moment, if you have a...
BT were charging me something like 180 quid, so quite a significant difference.
And it's actually cheap.
A load cheap.
Yes, yeah. Again, there are companies out there, as you know, I'm always honest. You can get VoIP from as little as £6 to £7, but you don't get Orpheus Internet, and I'll help you. Yeah, you have to do it by yourself, and that doesn't. And some of those prices don't actually. We've got a package, so it comes with XXXXX. It's up on the website if any of you need to see it, orpheusinternet.co.uk. And there's a little tag that says VoIP. Just click on that and you can see it rough. Give me a call if you want to do anything with it. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you.